for yourself. Okay, so I want you to know that it's not a crystal ball. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball for guidance for you. I truly believe that you have it, and I'm not doing any type of witchcraft, or this isn't a voodoo doll. Okay, that's not the type of intuition or spells that we're talking about when we're doing this work. This is truly your ability to connect to your higher self, a version of you that is higher, vibrating form, that knows when you were standing on the other side and seeking counsel to be in this beautiful experience in this life, kind of how you came in, what you intended to do. And it's not the things we think it is, right? So that's what we're going to be diving in today when we continue the work of our intuition. Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit differently this time. I'm going to ask you a series of 20 questions. I'm going to have the numbers up in front of you. If you say yes to it, it's important to put the number next to it. Because when I break out what type of an intuitive you are, if you're a 7, 2, a 9, and a 5, that could mean one aspect, a shaman. So it is important that you know the number as I go through this list. So let's put up the beautiful slide, get ready to answer 20 questions, and all you have to do is put the number, and if you put the number down, then guess what? That means it's a yes on your sheet of paper. Are you ready? Let's get to work. Question number 1. Are you generally aware of other people's feelings? Number 2. Do you ever get a sense that you're part of the universe? Number 3, do you often know what other people will say before they even say it? Number 4, while walking outdoors, have you ever sensed that something is watching you? Number 5, out in the country, have you ever felt as though something did not want you there? Moving on. Number 6, have you ever been out in a wild space and felt that place even protected you? Number 7, do you get butterflies in your stomach when you're near someone? And number 8, do you get the same type of feeling, that butterfly feeling, with a location? Number 9, when you walk into a place for the first time, can you truly sense its atmosphere? Number 10, do you really know that the world could be a place of peace and love instead of starvation and wars? Number 11, have you ever walked into a place and felt a shiver or a sense of presence? Number 12, do you ever hear people's thoughts? Number 13, are there people that you just don't like to physically be near? And number 14, have you ever encountered a spirit of any kind? Number 15, have you ever woke up and felt weight on you and known that there was nothing physically there? Number 16, do you get a sense of wonder and love just by being alive? Number 17, do you have vivid dreams that you feel may have really happened? Number 18, do you look in the eyes of someone who is hurting, and can you see their pain? Number 19, at night, do you close your eyes and see eyes, faces, or human-like creatures? And then the last one, number 20, have you ever felt your body has been on a journey without you even moving? Okay, so come back to me now. Okay, so in front of you, you have all the numbers that you wrote down yes to. So 2, 9, 6, 5, 7, 3, and 2. Are you ready? I'm going to put up a beautiful slide that is absolutely going to tell you what type of an intuitive you are. So here it is. Let's go through those now. In the assessment, if you answered yes to 1, 3, 7, 8, and 12, You, my friend, are an empath. And we're going to break these down when we're done, so let's just get on and get a sense of which one you are. If you answered 2, 10, 16, and 18, if you answered 2, 10, 16, and 18 yes, you are a channeler. Moving on, if you answered 11, 14, 15, 17, 19, and 20, you are a medium. And if you answered 4, 5, 6, 9, and 13, you are a shaman. Okay, come back to me now. So here's what's interesting. I'm sure you'll agree, you can be more than one. I'm an intuitive, I'm a medium, I'm an empath, I'm a shaman, okay? It's not like you can only be one, and that is, but it's just like when we uncover how we receive information, the one that you answered the most to, that can help you really narrow it down. So remember, all this can be developed, and that's why I'm teaching and doing these workshops, okay?
Real quick, could you do me a favor? There's a beautiful little button over here called subscribe. If you are not already, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the little bell. It tells you when new videos go up. Okay, back to the video. Thanks again for being part of my community.
Okay, now you know which one you are. Let's dive a little bit deeper today to explain and get you to touch and feel what each one is, okay? Let's start with the empath. Empathic. It really is what it sounds like. There are many of you, I work with many of you who move through life, you feel so deeply, right? So someone who is an empath is, would consider it a curse in a sense that they really do feel so connected to themselves and their own feelings, but also everyone around them. So moving into a room, going into an emotional situation, going to a funeral and picking up all the energy of people. Going into a toxic workplace could be so upsetting for someone who is empathic. So if you receive your information that way, heads up to you, the number one thing you have to be able to do is develop good boundaries and learn protection for yourself, because you can get sucked into a pretty bad place if you're not careful. So empaths are truly people who feel. Now there's a couple different ways when you're receiving information. You can feel guilt, you can feel sorrow, you can feel pain, and you might not take it on. So it's just a sense and a feeling of that person's energy. That's also empathic, okay? So sentient, same thing. It's the sensing and feeling, okay? That's that one. Empath. Let's move on. The next one is channeling. There's so many different types of channeling. The process that I do, and for those of you who work with me, I call it conscious channeling. I will go out in my reading, get information, come back and give it to you. I'm always in genie form when I'm here. If you've worked with me and my eyes are closed and I'm kind of giving you information and I'm connected to source the whole time, you know when I'm connected, right? That's a source of channeling. So conscious channeling to me is when you go and come back and you go and you're back and forth. If you look at the work and teachings of Abraham, Esther and Jerry Hicks, she channels. She's up on stage the whole entire time channeling Abraham. The movie Ghost, right? Whoopi Goldberg, she was channeling. I worked with somebody years ago. My first reading person was a channeler, and she took on a different voice. That's another way of receiving information. And what does channeling mean? You're the conduit. You're kind of giving yourself up to and getting information from, and they're bringing it through you, okay? And you probably already noticed too that you could be more than one, right? So I am a channeler and a medium, right? So don't feel like you're one, you can't be the other. Let's keep going. I'm sure you've already uncovered that. Medium. Medium is the person between, right? In the middle. People who have that gift, my mentor always said to me, everyone's intuitive, but not everybody is a medium. And we could have many conversations about good mediums and bad mediums out there. People who take advantage of that, people who, ambulance chasers, right? I think it's all important work, by the way, but the one that brings me the most joy and the one I feel like most service to people is this work, because typically we're bringing spirit through from the other side and the person in front of me is grieving, right? So mediumship is that. So if you receive those numbers, that's some examples of mediumship. And then the last one that we have that we're going to cover today is the idea of a shaman. And I love the shaman energy because I truly do think of healers, women who run with wolves. It's got that kind of energy. It's connected to source, connected to earth, Reiki, healing, beats, music. When you think of the word shaman, it's one of the oldest healers out there, right? They used to soul travel. They're very advanced. They're very connected to source. They can be in many places at a time, right? I think they have issues with grounding and being balanced. That's just my view. Let me know if you feel that way too. So the shaman-like energy, if you got shaman, that should give you an example. So I'll put some references in the link below if you have any questions or aspects of this that you'd like to add to. Please share below. Today I'm just giving you a taste and a touch and giving you a sense of what you are. And lastly, we're going to end with giving you a brief description of how you receive information. Okay, so I've done lots of videos talking about it, right? Hearing, seeing, feeling. Today, let's just go over those and we'll end that way. And I'll let you know that behind this video, my 10th video, will be the do's and don'ts of doing all this work. So stay watching, that's coming up next in production. Okay. So looking at the way we receive information, you hear it, clairaudient, you see it, clairvoyant, you feel it, clairsentient, okay? And then the last one is claircognitive, which is the knowing. So all of them are absolutely ways in which information comes through. And as I referenced in other videos, the one that's mostly the more predominant one that comes through and flows easily is most likely the one that you are and have the most. But here, I will say it again, and I will say it and say it until this whole playlist is done. You can develop all of them. So if you hear, see, feel, know, I just want you to end with one little conversation around the energy of knowing. And for those people who know, I want to say that I think the knowers out there are the hardest. I think they're the most advanced way of receiving information, but I also think it's the most challenging because after all, how do you know, right? When I see something, when I hear something, when I feel something, I have a physical seeing, feeling, hearing response to it. So it's almost like for myself, I have proof because I heard that. When you just do something or when you're being told something from higher self and it's just that gut feeling of knowing and you have to trust it, it can be a little scary, right? Because you're looking for proof of why. And I guess that's my biggest challenge for those who you know, and you know who you are. Of course you know who you are. You're a knower. Tag me, tell me below if you're someone who thinks you know. You will agree with that statement, that the hardest thing to do and to figure out is why you know. And that's where the trust comes in all this work. This is Janie Lynch, wrapping it up, giving you a touch and a taste of all the different language that it is when we're talking about what it is to be intuitive. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. Thanks again. Have a good day.